Hare Krishna. The war against lust is a war of attrition. A war of attrition refers to a war in which victory depends on wearing out the opponent. Attritional warfare is necessary when neither of the sides can be totally overpowered or destroyed. So, for example, when in the past trench warfare would be fought, so both the armies would entrench themselves, and anyone who would come out of the trench and try to march ahead would be shot down, and no one could move ahead because of that. And both armies would stay in the trenches till finally the supplies of one side would get exhausted, and then out of the sheer necessity, out of starvation, they would have to come and risk their lives to try to reach the opponent's side, and often they would get mowed down. So the point is, attrition warfare, success depends on wearing out the opponent. How is the war against lust a war of attrition? First of all, let's understand what we mean by war against lust. We are souls and we are meant for eternal happiness. But as long as we are attracted to temporary material things, we cannot get eternal happiness. So when we become spiritual seekers seeking eternal happiness, at that time we need to fight against those forces that keep us captivated by temporary material things. And the foremost among such forces of illusion is the force of lust. So in that sense, lust is the enemy that we have to fight. And the territory in which the war occurs is our consciousness. So now, if we, in the sense of our spiritual aspirations, are in our consciousness, and lust is also there in our consciousness. And there is no weapon by which we can eradicate lust completely. Now, lust is present both in our conscious and subconscious mind, having become impressed and embedded there due to our many sexual indulgences in this as well as previous lives. So even if we remove lots of sexual impressions, still there may be more which may emerge, pop up at the opportune moment when we are weak, and then seduce us. So suppose even if we hypothetically assume that we eradicate all lust from our consciousness, still images that provoke lust, images that inject lust into our consciousness are present abundantly in our culture, which is filled with sexually suggestive and sexually explicit imagery. So that's why we cannot expect to eradicate lust entirely. If we are hoping for some future weapon by which we can just destroy lust forever, then we are setting ourselves up for disappointment. We need a more realistic strategy for dealing with lust. And Bhagavad Gita pragmatically recommends tolerance as the strategy. In 5.23, it states, Shaknoti haiva yah sodhum praksharir vimokshanat kama krodhodbhavam vegam sayuktah sa sukhi naraha. So Shaknoti, if it is possible for you, Arjuna, ihaiva yah sodhum, ihaiva in this world, sodhum, tolerate, praksharir vimokshanat, till the moment of death. Kama krodhodbhavam vegam, the urges which are born of lust and anger. So yukta sa sukhena raha. So if you can tolerate the urges born of lust and anger, then you will be yukta, you will be well situated, and you will be sasukhi, you will be happy, naraha, that person. So now, what does tolerating lust mean? Does it mean that whenever we indulge in lust, we should tolerate that? No, Krishna is not talking about that. Krishna is saying that tolerance means that we don't expect that lust should disappear suddenly, but even when lust is present in our consciousness, we don't let its presence transform into indulgence. We don't act on it. So tolerance in that sense, in this sense, refers to a bridge between, to a blockage between lust's presence and our indulgence. So, so in that sense, lust, the strategy of tolerance is a strategy of attrition warfare. So, lust is present in our consciousness, but we don't let it impel us into indulgence. So Krishna says that prak sharir vimokshana, lifelong we should tolerate till the moment we give up our body. So that means here it is, we have to wear out lust without becoming worn out by it. How is that possible? For that, we may think that if I have to keep battling with lust lifelong, it's such a demanding and draining prospect. But it doesn't have to be. Actually, if we can optimize our nourishment and we can minimize lust nourishment, then we can wear out lust. We can gain the upper hand, and then we can wear out lust, and then the tolerance will become much easier. So we can optimize our nourishment by doing devotional activities such as remembering and serving Krishna, which give us higher fulfillment, and that gives us determination, strength, willpower to resist the lower pleasures that lust promises. And simultaneously, we can avoid indulging in lust. And every time we indulge in lust, lust gets strength by that indulgence. And every time we resist the temptation, lust becomes weakened by that. And the best way to refuse indulgence in lust is to keep ourselves absorbed in serving Krishna. And the Bhagavad Gita, same verse states that if we can keep ourselves engaged in the practice of yoga, bhakti yoga in our analysis, then Krishna says sayuktaha, the person who is engaged like this, sasukhi naraha, such a person will be happy, because the engagement in bhakti will give us higher taste, which will keep us happy. And in that way, we will not feel deprived or drained by the attrition war against lust. Rather, we will feel fulfilled and will be strengthened and will gain decisive upper hand till we eventually win the war. Thank you. Hare Krishna.